We are back here in the beautiful city of Nairobi, Kenya for NexTech Africa 2017. I have some special guests.
Where we are?
That's where we are, my friends. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. So you may know these folks, but we're going to have you introduce yourselves.
We're unknowable.
We'll start with you, my friend.
I'm Jeremiah Marble. I work on the Windows Insider program.
Fantastic.
What do you do there?
I am the architect for the community.
Community architect.
Yeah, that's right.
He like stacks people up. It's really exciting.
It's pretty fun, like Lego blocks.
They all fell down the other
more
day.
Yeah, you know,
it's more like Jenga, actually.
You need to work on that. There was
Lego.
people falling all over the place.
Yeah, it was less good.
That was the tequila, actually.
Nice. Donna?
My name is Dona Sarkar. I'm the engineering lead for the Insider program.
Fantastic. So let's talk about Insiders for Good, because you had a special announcement here. We'll get to it in a second.
That's right.
But what's Insiders for Good?
So Insiders for Good is the theory that there are 2 billion people in the world using Windows.
Mm-hmm.
There are 5 billion people in the world who are not.
Right.
And so if we focus only on people in developed world, like New York or Silicon Valley, and we design a program using their feedback, it's very biased, it's very skewed. So Insiders for Good is the idea that we can reach out to the global creatives, global entrepreneurs, people using Windows and the Microsoft technologies to make impact upon the world, whether that's making an app or a website or a social enterprise or a business.
I see. And so when did this program start?
It started on July 21st, 2016.
Oh, okay. So this was 2 years. What
Not
year?
even a year.
Last year.
Not even a year.
So we announced about 6 months ago, but it's always been part of the plan.
It's been part of the plan all along. During 1 week last year, our big hackathon, we sat down and said, you know what? Let's answer the question. Can the next generation of entrepreneurs, especially in developing nations, quickly and easily build their businesses and run their businesses on the Microsoft tech stack?
Sure.
And we said we can't with great authority answer that question. So let's get on a plane, got vaccinations, got visas, showed up in Nigeria. We did the thing.
And where was it? In Lagos?
It was in Lagos.
It's so hard to pronounce.
Lagos.
So we selected Nigeria for a number of reasons. So first of all, we knew that we wanted to go to a place where entrepreneurship was key. 80% of Nigerians believe that entrepreneurship is a way to change the world.
Right.
40% of Nigerians have worked at a startup in the last 3 years.
Wow.
And it was pretty interesting to go to a place which is the number one or number two GDP in Africa. 1 in 7 Africans live in Nigeria. To understand really about entrepreneurship in a place very different from Redmond, Washington, Lagos, Nigeria was a great place to start. So we selected Yaba, which is the tech hub of Lagos.
Yabakan Valley.
Yabakan Valley,
just
like Silicon
It's like
Valley.
Silicon Valley, and
Yeah.
here we have
Just
Silicon
more Yaba.
Savannah in Kenya as well. So what were some of the projects? Were there any projects that have come out of that from Lagos?
25.
Tell me about some of those.
Have you met Ola Inka?
No, I haven't.
Ola Inka is the Nigerian fellow we invited here to launch the fellowship we just kicked off, which we'll talk about.
Sure.
But he's working on this platform where law students can pass the bar in a way where they're able to learn all the concepts and things in like a fun and easier way.
Sure.
Because apparently, how much percent of law students were failing the bar? It was
80%.
80%. It was some obscene number.
And he said something like 40% of law students fail after like the first year, and then 20% after that.
Yeah.
So there has to be a better way to teach these concepts in a more global, crowdsourced sort of way. So that's the platform. But it's been amazing to watch him work, because he launched his business 2 days ago and his site crashed because he thought he was going to get like 100 customers, and he got way more than 100 customers. And he's like, you know, it's the engineering Venn diagram of a good problem and also, oh my God.
Yeah.
So he's right in the middle of OMG
And this guy was just amazing. Like the
Isn't he
talk
awesome?
he was giving, I was like, wow, man.
I want
need
him to follow us around and just give the spiel on our behalf,
Yeah.
because he gives it better than we do.
Like our anger counselor.
Yeah, I mean,
he's like, keep it down, keep it down, keep it down. We're like, we got this.
And if you're watching this now, next week we're going to have his talk on demand, because he was part of the keynote yesterday.
Yeah.
It was just, I was like, holy
He's
cow.
awesome.
He's like, I'm going to be president of Nigeria.
Yes.
I'm like, you should
I
be.
believe you.
You
Yeah,
should
you
be.
should do
Yeah,
that
I believed
now,
him
yeah.
when he said that.
It's been incredible, the diversity of ideas that we got. So he had the idea for Law Academy. It was essentially an idea on a piece of paper. And you know, as Donna mentioned, he launched his site yesterday. So much demand that the site crashed. But we received 5,000 applications for the Insiders for Good Nigeria Fellowship, selected 25. And those ideas range from teaching literacy through graphic novels. So Daniel is drawing videos, which are Nollywood videos, and converting them into graphic novels for people who don't know how to read. We have people using solar panels to irrigate fields. We have people working on nutrition and mental health. It's incredible the diversity of ideas that are coming out of Nigeria.
And the diversity of the people.
That's right.
They're not all from Lagos, the city.
They're from all over.
They're from all over Nigeria. So we have farmers from the north, like rural north. We have this woman who's a farmer, a fashion designer, and a rapper.
Holy cow.
I know.
I'm like good at like half of something,
right,
you know, and she's
right.
like good
people
at all
are
three.
Like, oh, you guys have, you do so many things. We're like, no. Let me introduce you to my friend, the farmer, the rapper, and the fashion designer. Those
if I
are
had
that
to
sounds
farm
like a
to
joke.
survive, I would literally
a farmer,
die.
a rapper, and a fashion designer walk into a bar.
CC Hub, and what
Was the
happens?
same
She
person.
launches her business. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what, if someone is part of the fellowship, what is it that's happening? I'm interested. I'm in Nigeria. Maybe that's closed already, but let's just say it's something that's new.
Yeah.
What do you get from that?
So let's imagine the Kenya Fellowship,
Okay.
right? We just opened the Kenya Fellowship yesterday. And as we mentioned, we're going to expand the Nigeria Fellowship to be very similar, right? Because it's been working so far, that
Sure.
we think. Do you want to talk to them about the gifts?
Sure. So every fellow, we support every fellow. We support every entrepreneur with tactical and strategic mentorship, ranging up from how to make a marketing plan or business plan. We will provide them with software, potentially some hardware as well. And probably the most interesting and influential thing is access to the global network. So all of these entrepreneurs from East Africa, so it's not only Kenya, but also Tanzania, Rwanda, and Uganda. All of these entrepreneurs will be connected to the fellows already working in Nigeria. So even though the markets are different, there are people who have gone through the process only a few months ago. So it'll be interesting to see how an entrepreneur working on a social idea here in Kenya, for example, can learn from folks in Redmond, Washington, who are experts in how to make a pivot table, or folks in Ireland who know very well how to use Azure,
right?
Or someone who's going through a similar challenge in Nigeria.
So they get mentorship, networking, and sometimes some software and hardware if need be.
That's right.
But for them, the biggest thing has been the mentoring.
Right.
So as Olainka pointed out yesterday, he said it was incredibly kind to get hardware and software. But you can buy those things.
Sure.
You can't buy mentoring and a global network.
No, you can't.
Right?
Yeah.
You can be, there's some things you can be given and some things that must be earned.
Right.
And they have such good ideas and so much passion to make those ideas happen. They demonstrated that enthusiasm during bootcamp week. Those were long days, right? They were 12-hour days of nonstop learning with like half an hour for lunch. And they were tireless, right? They were absolutely tireless. Even when we made them go through, what is your customer value prop? Like 95,000 times each, right? We went through, okay, write your business plan. No, do it again. No, do it again. No, do it again. And the hackathon with like no lights, no power.
Oh my goodness.
They powered through and they showed commitment. We thought, okay, 25 people are going to come into this fellowship. How many are we going to have at the end of the day Friday? 25 very enthusiastic people. Because they said we came in with an idea on a sheet of paper. We're walking away, most of them with a prototype that they're going to go test on humans.
So this sounds like there's another
powerful.
thing. There was like a boot camp, it sounds
Yes.
like. Tell us about
Yes.
that. So it seems like there's you have to apply, and then
Yes.
you select 25,
Yes.
and then there's an event. Tell us about
Right.
that.
So the 25, once they're announced as winners, we do this bootcamp week. For Nigeria, we partnered with a tech hub in Yabacon Valley called Co-Creation Hub. Just lovely, amazing people. And they have a huge network of developers and entrepreneurs who they work with. So it's also like a residence where people come in and like a big co-working create space. And Co-Creation Hub actually built out a second floor, and we just like camped there for the week.
Right.
And starting off, the first part of the week, it was get to know each other, get to know the Microsoft team. We had like posse of 10?
About
10 of
10,
us, yeah. And
engineers and strategists.
yeah, it was very diverse skill sets. And that was really important, like web-based, deep platform knowledge, marketing, social media, storytelling, etc. And we realized we needed all of us to be that diverse to be able to help them grow a business. Because
Right.
you can't grow a business just tech skills or just business skills. You're not going to have a very good business. But the sessions wound up being a combination of Co-Creations Hub sessions because they do this a lot. So they had tons and tons of wonderful content. We learned a lot about how Nigerians think about launching businesses. And it's scrappy, small, iterative, very scrappy. And one thing they kept saying is don't fixate on the tech, right? Don't say, oh, I need to build a big matching algorithm platform right away. Right, there's one of the guys, his thing was how do we match up people who are retired but out of jobs with companies or organizations that need expertise, but not necessarily full-time job, like a consultant or like vendor. And he said, okay, I'm going to build a platform that matches these people together. It'll be like you log in, and Femi Longi, the guy who we were partnering with, he was very clear. He said, don't worry about the tech. The tech is not the problem. You need to go prove the concept and see if you can get customers. Are you able to get customers? Are they able to do some sort of value exchange with you, right? Are they willing to give you money, give you feedback? What are they giving you for what you're going to do? Because if your business is not actually generating value or getting value back, you're not a business.
No.
So it was really practical. He didn't fixate, though they're a tech hub. And I've been hearing that a lot lately, like forget about the tech, right? The tech is not the thing. The tech is the tool, it's 10%. And for engineers, that's like, this is what I do for a living, I don't know what to do, right? The twitches. But that got all of us engineers kind of like, okay, take it down. And we had to grow as people and not talk about tech on day one. We had to just sit and listen, while people who actually have like business experience, like these guys, they were able to talk them through like, okay, let's talk about your value proposition, whatnot.
The idea of a value exchange is actually pretty important to why we're doing this, right? So it's not charity, it's not philanthropy.
Oh gosh, yeah, no.
What we're doing is actually we're supporting these entrepreneurs. They themselves are using Microsoft technology in some cases to change the world, definitely their communities. But we are not giving them money. We're giving them time, we're giving them effort. But it's also we're not giving it to them for free.
No.
Right. So Dona mentioned the blackout. It was a pretty interesting event. I think we've talked about it before. We were all sitting around during the hackathon working, and the lights went out. This is something that happens all the time in all parts of Africa, all parts of developing
When
world.
the light goes out, I'm like,
when the light goes out,
I'm going to go home.
Most of us kind of stopped. Like there's no wireless, so what are we going to do? And we were the only people who stopped. The entrepreneurs, their tech help kept on going.
They didn't even notice.
And so things like that, for us, constitute the value exchange. We're teaching them things that we know very well: how to make a marketing plan, how to think very deeply about what who your customer is, and what her needs are. But they're also teaching us about what happens in an intermittently connected environment. What happens when the lights go out, when the power goes out? The importance of having a battery that lasts. The importance of having software that does fine when there's great Wi-Fi as when there's no Wi-Fi.
I see.
And so we're learning a lot and taking the feedback that we're getting from these entrepreneurs back to Redmond, making a better product that hopefully will improve the experience for 2 billion people as well as for the 5 billion people not yet using Windows.
I like that you're saying this is not a charity, this is not philanthropy.
No, there's nothing philanthropic about this activity at all, because we are not the philanthropies team. There's places for philanthropies to do things, but we're not the philanthropies team. We're in the Windows org. And for us, it's bringing value back to Windows to make a better Windows.
It's in all of our badges, right?
Yeah.
So to empower every person and every business on the planet to achieve more.
Yeah.
And really,
including ours.
We believe that the every individual is an important. The every part is really important. It's not just every developer in Silicon Valley or every banker in New York.
No.
It's every person on Earth.
Every.
So let's talk about the announcement that happened yesterday. We kind of alluded to it a lot, but now let's talk about it.
It's a secret. No, it's not a secret at all. Yeah. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So Bambo Shofala, who's our exec sponsor, announced yesterday that we're expanding the Insiders for Good fellowship to East Africa. As I mentioned, entrepreneurs from Kenya, Rwanda, Uganda, and Tanzania will be able to apply. We'll be selecting those applications based on the strength of their ideas. How are those ideas helping their communities, helping their country, helping Africa, helping the world? And we will be working with them following a very similar process as the one in Nigeria to help support these entrepreneurs over the course of 6 months. After they've been selected and announced, we'll have a similar boot camp where we'll work with them on their strategies, their customer understandings, as well as their technology. It's very tailored. It's not one size fits all. Our core mission is to go and listen.
Right.
We listen, we understand what the problems are, what their challenges are, and we help them with those challenges versus showing up with something that's out of a box.
I see.
And so we work with them during the week-long boot camp, but then it's an ongoing process. We stay with them, we stay in touch with them constantly through WhatsApp, through Slack, through through Skype, through email.
We're raging
Basically-
insomniacs.
Basically, any question they have, we try to
So-
answer.
So he was serious when he said it was like 2 hours.
We
of
run
sleep.
on 2 hours
We-
of sleep and lattes, pretty much.
We're pretty much somewhere between 90 minutes and 3 hours of sleep. Our whole team. People join our team and they're like, oh, I need 8 hours. After 2 weeks, they're like, I need
Join
4.
our team. We're fun.
We're fun.
We have good parties.
Don't we sound like we're having fun?
Yes.
Wow.
We're having fun.
The cool thing
Yeah.
then, I love the whole idea of like, hey, most people have awesome ideas.
Yes.
And the cool thing that I found being here is that the principles of technology are the same.
Yes.
Their applications vary widely.
Very
That's right.
interesting.
And so that's the cool thing. So when is the application period? How many people are going to become fellows? Tell us more of the details of that.
Sure.
Okay, so it opened yesterday,
Okay.
runs till March 31st. We're going to choose 25. But what's super interesting is these ideas are going to be completely different, we think, than Nigeria, because we're in East Africa and the area is different,
Yeah,
right?
of
That's like
course.
saying, oh, the ideas in Canada and Mexico are the same, right?
Yeah,
It's not the
not-
same
yeah.
thing. So we're interested to see what ideas people think are real problems here. We're also working with a partner, again, because working with the local partner is very important.
Sure.
We in Redmond, Washington don't get to decide what are the most important ideas in Africa. We
That's
don't
awesome.
get to decide that.
Yeah.
We'd like to.
No, we don't. We would not like to.
The food's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Music.
we would like to. We would like to, but day job.
Yeah.
Haul it back.
We have stuff
So
to do. Yeah.
we're working with Growth Africa, a wonderful organization. They actually came yesterday to talk to us, and they are going to help us get our ginormous pile of applications that we're pretty sure we're going to get down to the 25 based on best ideas, as long as the viability of the human to actually execute that idea, right? Because many times people have an idea, but they may not be the right person to do it. So
Yeah.
that is a question. Why are you so interested in this?
Mm-hmm.
And the more personal the story is, the more likely they're going to do it.
Yeah.
right?
Because
Yeah.
ideas are cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ideas are cheap.
Execution is
Exactly.
expensive. Yeah.
So one piece of advice I'll give fellows is don't submit 20 ideas. Submit one that you care deeply about and tell the story of why you care deeply about it, and you are the person who's going to be able to take it to market. Because startups are not easy.
No.
It's life consuming. And if you're not willing to give your heart and soul, your mind and your sleep over to it, don't do it.
Yeah. Well, this is good
Yeah.
advice. Is there a website people can go to access this?
Insiderfellows.com.
So go to insiderfellows.com, apply for the
Apply.
fellowship. You need to be a resident of one of the 4 countries we just mentioned.
Yeah.
And the application closes on March 31st.
That's right.
So get them in.
Get
so
them in.
you folks
Early-
travel. You folks travel a lot. Are you going to be doing this in other places? Are you just taking them one at a time? Tell me about that.
So Windows is used all over the world.
Right.
There are 2 billion people using Windows.
Right.
And so we try, even though we can't, we try to go as much as possible to talk to people who are using Windows in very different places. We're constantly evaluating opportunities to expand this, but the important thing for us is to make sure we do a good job with the ones that we have going on. So doubling
And
down on
the-
Nigeria and East Africa.
Coming back to what Jeremiah had said about value, we have to also figure out what value this is adding to the product,
Sure.
right? So far, the main thing it's done is change the way we think about engineering, which is a lot, right?
Yeah, yeah.
To change the way you think about a 30-year-old brand. So we set up a permanent 2G network in our building now.
Wow.
Yep.
So what is that?
It is a low bandwidth network that is actually quite luxurious for parts of Africa.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you're getting a sense for what these devices
Yeah.
actually feel like.
That's right.
What the
in-
devices and the apps running on them?
And the
what happens when
experience
the power
of trying
goes
to
out?
do something.
Yeah.
You know what was shocking for me? I joined. Okay, so I set up an insider build like every single day. This is just part of my job. I
Sure.
can do it in my sleep. I couldn't do it in Nigeria.
Was it because of the internet or the power?
I
or
just
the-
didn't know how to be patient. I'm
see
like,
it.
this is not working. Reboot. They're like, stop doing that. You just have to wait. Be patient. They understand that certain things take a long time. I needed to be guided on how to connect because I'm so used to Seattle.
And that's an important insight because that'll change the way we tailor that experience.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, wait, if
Yeah.
people have to wait, what are we going to do for them while they're
Occasionally
waiting?
connected is a thing.
And that's the important thing
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
we keep repeating it, but it is absolutely true that we, in many cases, are building this software, which is used around the globe, in an enclave which has great power,
Yes.
has great connectivity.
Yes.
We're surrounded by very smart people.
Yes.
But you forget, even though that the group of people working on the product actually is very diverse.
Very diverse.
From all
Yeah.
over the place. you forget there because you don't have to think about
Right.
what happens when the power goes out.
Right.
What happens when the phone goes out? What happens when the Wi-Fi goes out?
Yeah. Or
But
if it's
when
slow.
you are one of the 2 billion people around the world using Windows, when you're in rural Nigeria or you're in rural Rwanda, that is not a luxury that you have.
Right.
And so trying to get these learnings into the creation of this product so that it makes a better experience for all the people in the world using
Yes.
it has been incredible, very humbling.
Yes. And
Yeah.
one thing he said yesterday that I really liked is when you build a product for a more diverse user, it's just a better product.
Right.
So if we are able to, let's just look at the one part of getting a new version of Windows and a build version of Windows installed. If we're able to do that with a far better experience on this 2G network, that's good for everybody.
I see.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that's going to take away from the high-speed experience. Your high-speed experience is going to be higher speed.
Even better.
Yeah, it's going to be better. But even in parts of the U.S., network isn't amazing, right? Many, many people say that. They're like, see the center of the country. So it's just a thing that we need to invest in. It's not a thing that we've had to live.
I see.
One of the things that we've been talking about a lot lately is we think people should do a tour of duty where they go to a place very different than normal and just do their job. They don't have to go, visit customers, tour things.
Just
Don't
do your
that.
job.
Do your job. Do the exact job you were doing at home.
Change the setting.
Change the setting.
Yeah.
And do that job in, pick a country that's not the US or Western Europe and go do your job. Things will change. You have to get very creative. And engineers are very creative people. So we will find ways to solve these problems, but you will come back with a list of things this long that you want to change about your product.
And I like the idea of that, we're doing this, but we should, internally we're thinking about it, this is how we know how to make Windows better.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's no way we're going to, in our little box,
No.
know how to
No.
make Windows better if we don't have an experience in Kenya, or one in Australia, or one in China, or
Yep.
one in India, anywhere.
We
So I
call
love
we
that.
call the idea co-creation, and it's something that we take very seriously. We launched Winsiders for Good about 6 months ago, but the Insider program has preceded the launch of Windows 10. Right, the idea that we are building a product that is used around the world by 2 billion people and ideally by 7 billion people. Right, we met this guy in Toronto named Jason. He happens to be blind. He's using technology to navigate his life. He called an Uber. He trusted his life into the hands of a stranger by calling an Uber, trusting technology to work to hear him. If we make Windows better for people like Jason, we make Windows better for the 267 million visually impaired people in the world. But not only that, the same challenges that a blind man has is the same challenges that a mother has when she's distracted by her children. She wants to be able to use her technology to navigate her life. She doesn't actually care how it works. But if we can take experiences from people who know something very well, like a rural Nigerian, or like someone who's in Nairobi, or someone who's in Tokyo, or someone like Jason in Toronto, or even a banker in New York, if we make it better for one very focused group of people, it's not just better for that person or that group of people, it's actually better for everyone. So, handling poor connectivity forces us to have smaller file sizes, or to handle, what happens when it's intermittent. How do you handle the
How do you
packets,
continue
right?
without dropping?
That is something that is great for everyone.
Put a do not restart string.
Yeah.
Basic, right? Something like that. The other thing is when we get feedback from Jason on, say, Cortana, that matters a lot more than feedback from Dona.
Of course, because
Right?
he
lives
relies
his life
on
on it. Yeah. Then me, like, oh, that one, it's starting,
He's an expert.
starting this app didn't work that one time. He's like, yeah, Uber doesn't work, I can't get around. That matters a lot more. So
That's amazing.
One of the things we're looking at is how do we prioritize based on the need of that customer target group, right? And if people in Nigeria who are starting businesses are like, I can't actually send an email because your mail app doesn't work so great and whatever. I don't know if that's true or not, but if they say that, we have to believe them. So there's an element of trust, right, between us and our Windows Insider community.
Sure.
And that's something we really want to build and develop this during the course of this year. We have to trust their feedback. They're giving us this feedback because this is their life, and they have to trust that we're going to do something with it, right? And they're not just wasting their time. And we actually have established that trust. We just have to execute on that promise.
To build on that, like the fascinating thing also of the idea of trust is it's not this big homogeneous mass of people. We say, millions of Windows Insiders representing the billions of people using Windows, right? But it's actually people like Jason. a person who's spending his or her time to give us feedback is actually essentially making a very personal connection with us. I'm spending my time to make this better for me, but also better for everyone. All the people who tweet at Dona
That's right.
very angrily. She's establishing a personal relationship in a way
Yep.
with people, Raymond or Daniel or
Yes.
Jason, right?
Yes.
In a way that she can name them. And we're implementing this product feature for this very specific piece of feedback for this person. But that interpersonal relationship that we
Yes.
form and we sustain actually makes a better product and a better experience. And in a way, it's changing what Windows stands for.
And I like the feedback hub in Windows is very, like I'm on the Insiders build,
Yeah.
and
Of course you are.
And it's like, hey, how did you feel about this? And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I kind of
Thanks
want to
for
answer.
asking.
That's
Yeah.
a really good question.
Yeah.
Let me type something in real quick. And I like the sort of the personal nature of now Windows, because Windows used to be you got what
Here
you
you
got.
are.
You got what
This
you got.
is what it
Yep.
is.
We
and-
show up in a
and-
turtleneck.
It's one of
and
the reasons
this
that,
is it.
one of the reasons the Insider program exists, because if we only did a beta a few months before we launched, that's not enough time to go change the product we spent 2 years building,
Yeah.
right? That makes no sense. But now that we flight every week, we're able to change the product every week, right? I rant about this all the time, 5-day changes, 5-month changes, 5-year changes, depending on the feedback. But the other thing is that if you go to engineers with a customer's name and say, Jason, representing the Toronto School for the Blind, cannot use Cortana to call an Uber, we need to fix that, price zero. They were like, oh, we need to fix that, price zero. Versus some users can't launch Cortana to call Uber.
Right.
Which one is going to get
Yeah,
prioritized,
that makes sense.
right? So the storytelling matters. That's one thing that has been abundantly clear to us, is the storytelling matters. Because if you cannot tell the story correctly of a customer, then you're not going to prioritize their issues.
Love it.
And that's one of the things the Nigerian fellows have taught us. We absolutely have to be able to tell their stories clearly, compellingly, concisely, and in a way that is going to make a better Windows product.
This is awesome. Well, let's call out the website again to wrap up.
Insider Fellows apply before March 31st.
Yep.
Well, thanks so much for spending some
Thank
time. This has
you.
been educational for me. I love
Very
how
good.
we're focusing on customers
Yes.
to make Windows a better product.
Yes, we
thanks,
are.
Donna. Thanks, Jeremiah. Thanks so
Always.
much for watching. We are again here in Nairobi, Kenya for
Yes.
NexTech Africa 2017. It's been wonderful. We will see you after the break.
Bye.